The hallway echoed with laughter, not the joyful kind, but the cruel, sharp kind that cuts deep and lingers longer than bruises. "Hey look, it's Garbage Girl again," someone shouted, as a hush fell over the corridor. Heads turned. All eyes landed on Amina, a shy 14-year-old girl with deep brown skin, hopeful eyes, and a school uniform stained with faint patches of yesterday's dishwater. Her socks were mismatched, her shoes had holes, and her once white shirt was now off-white, barely held together by worn threads and stubborn resilience. She clutched her books tightly to her chest, kept her eyes down, and walked faster. But laughter followed her like a shadow. Amina's world was different from the others. She lived with her mother and younger brother in a small one-room home on the outskirts of the city. Her mother worked double shifts as a janitor at 2 schools. Amina helped her clean offices at night. Money was tight, too tight for luxuries like new clothes or even a second pair of shoes. Her school uniform had been passed down from a cousin 3 years older and was now held together with more faith than fabric. But despite it all, Amina was brilliant. She had dreams, big ones. She wanted to become a doctor. She studied by candlelight when the electricity went out and helped her brother with homework even when her body ached from mopping floors. At school, however, dreams weren't enough. Girls like Maywish and Talia, the it girls, couldn't see past Amina's worn appearance. To them, she was a target. Her silence was mistaken for weakness. Her poverty, a punchline. "Do you sleep in trash cans, Amina?" Maywish sneered one day, flicking ketchup on Amina's already stained skirt during lunch. The cafeteria erupted with laughter again. Amina didn't cry, not in front of them. But when she got home that day, she scrubbed her skirt raw, knuckles bleeding, hoping to erase the stain and the shame. Her mother watched quietly, her own eyes red. "I'm sorry, Beta," she whispered. "One day, they'll see you." One day came sooner than anyone expected. The school announced its annual Science and Innovation Fair. First prize, a full scholarship to a prestigious private high school with labs, mentors, and the possibility of international exposure. Amina's heart skipped. This was her shot, a way out. She signed up, despite knowing she'd be competing against students with access to resources she could only dream of. Maywish laughed out loud when she saw Amina's name on the list. "Hope they give prizes for dirtiest lab coat," she mocked, flipping her perfect ponytail. But Amina ignored her. She spent nights researching, collecting scrap parts from junkyards, borrowing books from the library, and working with recycled materials to build a low-cost water filtration system that could be used in rural villages. There were many nights she wanted to give up, when parts didn't work, when her design failed, or when exhaustion made her eyes close mid-equation. But every time she looked at her sleeping brother and mother curled up on the floor, she pushed through. The day of the competition arrived. Amina showed up in the same faded uniform. Her hands were slightly stained from metalwork, her hair braided simply. She wheeled in her project, handmade, imperfect in look, but brilliant in concept. Maywish stood nearby with her sleek, expensive-looking robot, surrounded by cameras and curious students. She rolled her eyes when she saw Amina. "You're embarrassing yourself." But Amina didn't flinch. One by one, students presented their projects. Applause filled the hall for flashy presentations and buzzwords. Then it was Amina's turn. She took a deep breath. "I know I don't look like the others," she began, voice trembling, "but where I come from, clean water is a dream. I made this filtration system using garbage and old tools. It's not pretty, but it works and it costs less than a textbook." There was silence. Then the judges approached her device. She demonstrated it. Murky water went in, crystal clear water came out. The head judge looked stunned. "How did you build this on your own?" "I didn't," Amina said. "My circumstances built it. I just listened." The auditorium erupted into applause. Not mockery, genuine applause. Some students even stood. Maywish's face turned pale. A week later, the results were announced. Amina had won. She got the scholarship, full funding, and an offer to present her work at a national science conference. The same students who once laughed at her were now sharing her photos online, calling her a genius. Teachers congratulated her. Even Maywish didn't have words, just stunned silence. But the best moment came that night, when Amina walked into her home, holding the acceptance letter. Her mother burst into tears, hugging her tightly. "You did it, Mary John." "No," Amina said softly, "we did it.